What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Behind me is my 2011 GMC Sierra and 2012 Chevy Tahoe, both equipped with a 5.3 liter. And if you don't know anything about modern GM V8s, they have a thing called AFM, Active Fuel Management, which essentially cuts off 4 cylinders, running it in V4 mode. So, of course, we all understand why they did it, trying to get the best fuel economy possible out of the V8. The newer trucks have DFM, Dynamic Fuel Management, but here on the first generation of AFM, it's definitely not the smoothest thing. You can totally feel when it jumps from V4 to V8 and then back to V4. And if you have an exhaust, you really can hear it and it sounds terrible. So if you want to go about disabling that, how do you do it? Well, you can go with the most expensive option, which is a custom tune, which will give you the perks of getting some more performance, driving habits will be changed, and no more AFM. Only bad side is that's about $400, $500, $600. Next up is going to have no performance changes, but it's going to get rid of AFM. That's going to be the range module. Downside to it, $200. Well, I was searching on Amazon the other day and I stumbled on this bad boy, which very might be a range knockoff. It says AFM and DFM disabler. With that said, let's unbox it, plug it into Big Betty over here. That way, if it blows up, we don't kill Shorty. Now I'm gonna read this and y'all tell me if you already see something worrisome. The AFM/DFM disabler allows your V6 or V8 vehicle to keeps in full power 100% of the time. To keeps in, that's a little bit worrisome. How do you not catch that? Tells me this thing is probably not made in America. Installation, just plug into your OBD2 port and drive. Then this gives you a warning of if you leave it in your vehicle and don't drive it, it could drain your battery. I never had an issue with my range module. I left it in for weeks at a time in my 2018 Silverado. No issue, but that definitely could be different with this. So let's go ahead, pop her out, throw her in Big Betty, because this thing surprisingly made it 220,000 miles with all original lifters, but sure she won't be mad about not having to go into V4 mode anymore. So there it is. Should be as simple as just plugging it up. See some lights. She should be good to go, just like that. So I'm actually going to take it back out because when you put this thing in overdrive and you're very light on the throttle, it is crazy in V4 mode. I don't know why, maybe the mileage, whatever the case, it acts crazy. Like, it drives all right, but it's in V4 constantly. So I'll unplug it, show you all that, then we'll plug it back in and see if it immediately fixes it. Time to test this baby out. Do not make fun of all of Betty's dash lights. She is very sensitive. As you can hear and see, we're in V4 right now. And there is V8 popping back in, which, I mean, it sounds all right. It sounds cool, but it's very annoying after the first time you hear it. So just in and out like crazy on these little roads from going slow. And for whatever reason, if I'm in overdrive, or not overdrive, tow haul mode, it goes banana crazy trying to stay in V4 mode. So, if I can remember where I put it, here it is, right here. We're gonna plug it in real time, if I can do that while driving. All right, did it light up? All right, it lit up, just popped back into V8. Will it go back into V4? It works. I figured it would, but as you can see, like it says on the box, for the most part, plug it in and drive. So the reason why they say don't leave it in while you're not driving is because it does keep that light on, which could run your battery dead if you got a weak battery, or some vehicles draw more to that OBD2. But proof is right there. She is working. Well, unfortunately, I can confirm that this does not work on the 2019 Plus generation with the 10-speed transmission, which I did go back and look at the ad for this, and it says down at the bottom that it does not work with the 10-speed trucks. So maybe it works with the 8-speed trucks, and that's why it actually still says DFM on here, because I don't think it was considered DFM until the 2019 body style. But maybe the 14 to 18 6.2 trucks that had the 8-speed was considered DFM. Not really sure. Either way, unfortunately, it does not work on here. I figured it wouldn't because the range module for this generation is much larger and it's actually plugged in underneath the hood. It's not through the OBD2. So, yeah, kind of a bummer. Doesn't work on this, but maybe the 8-speed version. But with that said, let's go ahead, toss it in Shorty. All right, here we are in Shorty, cruising along, as you see, V4 mode. Back into V8. I let off the throttle a little bit. It should jump straight back into V4. Yep, just like that. So, let's go ahead and take our guy, plug her in. I don't know what y'all can see right now, but now V8, we're gonna let off. We're just very light. We're actually going downhill, barely on the throttle. It would totally be in V4, but it is working beautifully, just like in Big Betty. So I'm gonna drive both of these around for a couple days just to see if they feel any different while driving. With the range, sometimes it can feel a little bit different. For the most part, good, but I just want to go ahead and test it out, make sure the truck does still drive good with it. Drove fine in Betty with some small possible changes, but we'll see how it feels in here, and then I'll catch up with y'all. Final results, I guess. All right, guys, got a couple of days under my belt driving around with the AFM disabler on here with Shorty and Betty. One thing to notice, if you see, after the truck sits, there is no light on. So I don't think it's going to draw your battery. Maybe there is still some kind of parasitic draw with this thing plugged in, but I don't think there should be. I never had any issue with my range, and I genuinely feel like this is just a range knockoff. So yeah, I think it is well worth the 85 bucks for sure. There's nothing else cheaper. And it really does change the entire driving habits of your truck, not hopping in and out of V4. And this should work on all 2007 to 2019 classic trucks. Maybe even the 19 plus that are 8 speeds. I'm not really sure. I don't know why it says DFM if not, because it wasn't dynamic fuel management until 2019. I know there was several years of 2019 2020 trucks with the 8-speed. That might be the thing. This might work with the 8-speed, but not the 10-speed. I know the 10-speed, for whatever reason, really tripped up the whole tuning or tinkering with portion. So maybe the 8 speeds of the newer body trucks will work with this. Cannot confirm nor deny, but I know there is a bunch of people on the reviews talking about this working very good on their 14 to 18 body style 19 classic. So should be good to go. 07 19 classics, AFM disabler for freaking 85 bucks. That's about as cheap as it gets right there. So I'll definitely leave it in one of these trucks. Actually, I'll be leaving it in Betty because Shorty is fixing to get a proper tune thanks to Diablo Sport. So I'll be able to eliminate that completely, as well as actually gain us some horsepower, torque, better driving habits, completely tuning the truck rather than just disabling AFM. So this is going to find its home in Betty, keeping V4 mode out of there, because Betty definitely isn't happy when it's in V4, but it only really gets in V4 when it's in tow haul mode. I don't know why I'm yapping, y'all. Let's end the video. Hopefully y'all did enjoy. Comment down below. I'll have a link to it in the description. I'll see y'all in the next one.